The stage is open. Alright, I have to make a special announcement to this lovely woman coming on stage. This is Linda Reynolds, everybody. You guys give it up for Linda. She's helped organize a lot. She's helped out a lot. You guys give it up for her. She's going to say some words and then we're going to Missy over here.
But I have to say that the first time I really remember engaging with Raff was that Missy is my neighbor, and she was going through a separation and a very hard time. And I said, girlfriend, we're going to go to Casa Roma, and we're going to listen to some music. And she's like, I don't want to. And it's like, we're going to go. So we go to Casa Roma, and Raff is on stage, and he's playing, and she looked and she said, I think this was a really good idea. And so we're listening to the music, and Raff said, and we're going to take a break. And he makes his way, because he's being so cool, and he makes his way down the tables, and he came to our table, and they started talking. He came and he sat with us, and they were talking, and all I heard was like, rah, 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 rah. And I became chopped liver. I didn't exist. And then fast forward to, oh, thank you. So fast forward to Las Vegas when they got married, and it was such a magical time. And I know Electra already left, but it was such a magical time. And Missy was in her purple princess gown, and she had these boots that were glass. They were mirror, and they were so beautiful. And Raff in his white tuxedo. And then we had this guy that looked like Stanley, this guy. And he was like a wax guy. He was so freaking amazing. And so, the best stories I've really never told. And so anyways, it was just a fabulous wedding. And then one thing I really remember is that Electra and I just kind of stood back and we watched how we walked to the Hard Rock Cafe after the wedding, and how people would just stand back and they were just kind of looking at us, and there was Manu and Michael and Darren and Stefano, and they were in their suits, and oh my God, they were so freaking hot. And so, and Electra and I were just going, now we know what it feels like when like a stud walks in with all these beautiful girls. We were all these hot guys, and thank God Lillette was there to chaperone us. But it was just one of those beautiful memories that I will never forget, and it was so magical. And Raff, and I know him more, you guys know him really rock and roll, and he was my neighbor, so I know him at a very personal level, and I just loved him so much, and how he loved his kids, his dogs, and his horses. But you know what? Missy, you will dance again. And we are just so blessed to have Raff. We were so, like, look at all the amazing people that are here, and look at all the amazing musicians that we know. The others, I didn't really play with you guys, but you guys, I mean, we're just so blessed. We truly are. And so I just say rest in peace to Raff, and I'm just so blessed that I know him and that I know all of you guys. And so, thank you.
All right, Missy, you got this, baby. You got this.
Yeah, Missy, come on. Oh, Missy, you got this, honey.
Okay, I have to wear my glasses. I'm old. I just want to say that this has been really, really humbling and heartfelt for us. My husband loved you. So I'm going to try to
love you, Missy.
We love you, Missy.
Okay. I'm just going to read from my paper.
It's all good.
Go ahead.
Dearest friends and family, thank you all much for taking time from your busy schedule to be with us on this day to celebrate Raff's life. I speak for the family when I say that we appreciate your friendships and your kind, generous, and loving hearts. Raff loved and cherished each and every one of you, and you all meant the world to him. His greatest wish was to get better and to get back to the stage with his beloved Pinky to play and entertain for you. This was not meant to be, but his spirit and drive will carry on. Raff wanted to be remembered, and sharing stories keeps his memory alive forever. We all have so many great memories of him, and I hope that you will come up and share them with us. Memories, good times, and music are what keeps people like us going. These things are ours to keep, and they can never be taken away. So I'm going to tell you my small story first. It's one of the way we met. There was this little bar and grill in Lancaster called Casa Roma, holding a jam. And Raff came up and began talking to me and the Rendels at our table. I felt an instant connection with him. He asked if we were friends on Facebook, and I told him I wasn't sure, but probably not, since I only friend people that I actually know.
Yeah, it's hard to connect, girl.
He told me that we would be friends on Facebook by that evening, and then he went back up on stage from where he came. Later on that month, we met again at a friend of ours' house, Suzette and Michael Boggs. We drank some Fireball at some point and decided that we needed to get to know each other better at a gathering around the jacuzzi. At some point, he asked me to dinner to his house, rapatalai, and wine from France. And from that point on, when I went, we were inseparable. We were married in Las Vegas, Nevada on February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2015, at the Kiss Hotter Than Hell mini golf. Wedding chapel. I don't believe it exists anymore, but it suited us perfectly. Christoph came and he did the flames when we kissed after our ceremony. It was beautiful. Our friends Michael and Suzette let us use their Las Vegas timeshare, and the festivities from the wedding carried on into the week. This is Michael and Suzette from the others, and they've entertained you well tonight. Anyway, I had found my soulmate, the one my heart loves. So I'm going to give you just a little excerpt from a poem that I found from Mary Alec Ramesh. It's not the whole poem, but it's a few lines. And what it says is, when I am gone, release me, let me go. I have so many things to see and do. I gave you my love. You can only guess how much you gave me in happiness. I'm sorry. I will not be far away, for life goes on. So if you need me, call, and I will come. Though you cannot see or touch me, I will be near. All of my love around you, soft and clear. My husband loved you. Seriously, every one of you. I will end my story with this reflective and heartfelt thought. The only thing better than falling in love is staying there. And I will stay in love with Raff forever. Thank you again for coming to share in our memories with us. We love you all, and I hope that you will come and share your memories also.
Anybody else?
Hey everybody, I'm George.
Hey, George!
I met Raff about 10 years ago at the Rockin, and I was talking to somebody and saw Raff, and he was very unique, and I said, I gotta meet that guy. So he brought Raff over and we were talking, and you know, we kind of hit it off, and he came to a bunch of parties at our house, because we used to have parties at the house with the band. And Raff met my dad. My dad just passed away, he was 91. And Raff and my dad really connected, and that, to me, was very moving, you know. And my dad said he had been in France when he was in the Marines, and Raff goes, oh, when were you there? He goes, I was in there in 52, and Raff goes, oh, that was the best time to be there, because he was in Cannes, you know. So every time Raff would come over, he'd see my dad, and he said, I want to be just like you when I'm 90, you know. So I'm really feel bad that he didn't make it to 90, but I know if he would have made it, he would have been, you know, just as cool. So I didn't get to sing with Raff, which I wish I could have, but he came and he used to bring his guitar and sit in and jam, and it was just a pleasure to be around, and I feel very blessed to have known him, and actually to know all of you guys. So thank you, and Missy, we love you.
I want to say something. Yeah! Starting to light up now.
This fight.
All right.
Arm wrestle.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers for Raff.
Yeah.
Put your drinks up.
Yeehaw.
Raff, the man that made me feel welcome when I came here in this town about years ago. He was one of the first ones that said, hey man, you're a musician, you can play something? Come on man, just fucking rap something, man. He was always just do what you want to do and have a good time with it. As long as you're having a good time, people will feel it. And I took those words to heart, and I grabbed my courage and I went on stage and I had a great fucking time with him. And to the point that he and I became great friends. He ended up, you know, marrying wonderful Miss, and he was just a great guy that always made you feel welcome. No matter what, who you were, what you looked like, he always made you feel that you were always welcome, no matter what. He had a big smile and he had his rock attitude, like don't give a fuck, you know. Just fucking do it, man. In his French accent, we used to call him Frenchie. I know it's now it's like weird. Oh, you shouldn't be calling people from France French. But there was a time when we called him Frenchie. We called him Frenchie for a long time, and then we all realized, hey, maybe Frenchie is. Let's just go with Rnr, you know. Raff, and then Raff. And I remember a very quick story. I don't mean to hog the mic here, but he brought this bright looking thing, right, that it was pink. I mean, as soon as he opened it up, the pink just... And he looked at me, that's right. This is my pink bitch. hey, that was the name of his guitar, Pink Bitch. And then we ended up, because we wanted to be, you know, Pink B. So now it was Pink B, so he became Pink B. But anytime I would see him with a Pink B, I knew that there was a show going on, like that was about to go on. So I just want to say, Raff up there, man, thank you, and look at all the friends you brought in together. So put your hands, put your drinks up, and let's give it up for Raff, everybody. Yeah, Raff, baby, we love you. Much love, thank you.
Okay, it's foreigners' time now.
We're gonna tell you the real shit now. You guys, I mean,
It's gonna get ugly.
that's the way he got you in, what, 8, 9 years? Think about knowing him since you're 13 years old. I lost a few hair. Really,
Still have mine.
if you wonder why he's playing a pink guitar, I can tell you everything about it, but
We don't want to
it's
hear.
gonna take a hell of a long time, man.
Well, I met Raff about 30 plus years ago
Really?
in London.
You talk to him?
No. I wanted to kick his ass.
Yeah. He didn't give you a choice.
Well, you know, then we became friends.
You open your fridge and he's like, yeah, let's
Yeah,
fucking eat
yeah.
on your food.
I'm Italian. Hey, I'm Italian. My fridge is the best. Anyways, I guess Raff was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It was
What about Peggy Sue?
it was the biggest pain in the ass.
All pain in the ass.
I was his biggest pain in the ass. We started working together, we shared places together, we shared good times, hard times, we did a lot of fucked up shit together. And thank you for the journey, Raff. I know that when my day comes to kick the bucket, wherever I will end up, I mean, you will be waiting for me at the table. And you'll probably be asking me, hey, did you get some money? Buy me a beer. Here comes my little brother.
Yes. Now, Raff,
Los Tres Amigos.
when we were very, very young, he had big dreams. Like, you would never meet someone with the biggest dreams. And where we're from, it was not easy to have those dreams. So where are all these freaking ideas coming from? His mom would drop him off at my house on Saturday, and he would, well, he knew maybe 2 quarts more than I did, but goddamn, man, we rocked out. And he would grab his pencil, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, you like your hair like that? And he would draw the biggest stage. You know, we're 14 years old. The biggest stage, libertine lips, the big circles, and him, of course,
Fireworks.
he had to be in front of the mic with the biggest hair ever. And he was an awesome big brother. Huh? Right?
Yeah.
And then to hear you talk about him that way, that's rough, because we went from France to England to LA, went back to France, and he was dealing with some personal issue, and he finally came back, and he found his little piece of land in your side of town. And at the beginning, he would keep coming back twice a week in Hollywood, because, you know, and that's like 2-hour drive. But somehow one day, he told me, hey man, come over, I want you to meet some people. And next thing you know, there's Moldy, Suzette, Jeff, everyone. And you guys just freaking gave him a stage to be able to rock out for freaking ever. And thank you. Thank you.
Well, au revoir, mon frère. À la prochaine. And thank you guys for taking one of my best friends ever as your friend. Thank you for loving him, like we did back in the day. And I'll appreciate it.
Missy.
What? Shit! Alright, man.
Come on, I think there's a toast coming up.
There is a toast coming up. First of all, I never met a motherfucker who could out rockstar me. Fucking me! Oh, well, Suzette, yeah. Suzette. Raff. When I first saw Raff, I saw Missy standing over there. I was single. She was by herself. Raff was fucking out in the picture somewhere. And I was like, hey, and I was talking with Missy. All of a sudden, Raff comes walking up. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Motley Crue just walked into the fucking room. And Missy goes, oh, this is my husband. I'm like, motherfucker, really? So I look at Raff and I go, how does a motherfucker get a girl like her?
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
Ever since then, me and Raff has, we've always been a kindred spirit as far as straight up fucking rock and roll. Straight up rock and roll. We always wanted to do something with each other. For whatever reason, it never happened. I hit him up for Aerosmith. He had already moved. But anyway, I want to say I love you. And we've got a couple shots here. We're going to toss it back to the real rock star. Yeah! Raff! Here's to you!
Bottoms up, bitches!
Toss it back!
Bottoms up, baby!
That's what I'll take some.
You are a very good shot person. Oh, like a true
This
professional.
guy is the luckiest guy in the world to have Sonia Hoff.
Oh my God. How did I get her? We're not going to turn this into me, but motherfucker, how did I get her?
Mustang Sally, baby!
I love you, Sonia.
Smart boy. Smart boy, Joey.
And we got a trip planned coming up to the Rock and Roll Kids wedding chapel soon.
Do it. Do that shit.
Hey, I hope we're invited to that, Joey. Are we invited to that? We want to be invited to that. Well, I think she may know now. You know, I'll tell you what, over the almost 20 years that Suzette and I have been together, we have seen so many relationships come together because of rock and roll. We've seen these guys, and it is the most beautiful thing to see all of us come together with one thing in common, and that is rock and roll music. You know, the love that we share together cannot be undone. And, you know, yeah, we've lost some people. Our hearts are with them in heaven, but no matter what, we are together. And that is the most important thing. You know, once again, we've got places like Big Shotz that pulls together and allows us to do something like this. You know, we do this song, God Bless America, in our band, and it is so true. We love this country because we are able to do this together. So, the bottom of my heart and Suzette's heart, thank you guys so much. Our friendships mean the world to us. They really do. And we treasure the moments. We treasure the gains. We treasure the losses. So no matter what happens, we are there for you. And you are there for us. And thank you so much.
So I'm gonna ask Isaiah and Frankie to come up and say something about Raff. They were helping him with his horses when he was very sick. And so I'm going to call him up. Frankie and Isaiah. Thank you.
So I didn't want to lose my thoughts, so I wrote it all down on my phone. For those who don't know me, I'm Isaiah, technically Raff's horse trainer. I got to know Raff through his passion for horses, which is super wild because like most of you guys know him as a rock and roll star and I know him as a cowboy. So this is like culture shock. But I didn't know he liked rock, but I didn't know so much. I wish I would have known more of this. Throughout his chemo, he'd still fight to get on his horses. He had a horse that was like barely broke. It was a stallion. And for some reason, he wanted to get on, like even though he was really frail and sick. Stuff like that is just things, little things that like Raff would do on a daily basis that would just teach me a little bit more about, you know, what my life was really like compared to what it could be like. He had fight in him. He made no excuses to get what he wanted. I remember being grateful every time we were able to bring back Raff from each ride because his horse was so unruly. Like I just want, like Missy would be standing at the gate watching us bring him back, and it would be like the whole time. It's like I knew Missy was gonna be out there watching. So if for whatever reason he came off and he wasn't on his horse, I felt like we'd be in trouble. But it was just little moments like that that like let me know that how much they loved each other. You know, like how much you loved him. You'd be at the gate waiting for him. That was so cute. I don't know if you knew how adorable you looked waiting for him to come back. But yeah, that was an example of just like that and the banter back and forth, how much you guys cared and loved each other. I've always wanted that, you know. Raff was a fighter, but a spunky one. I had to clear this story with Missy just to make sure it was okay to share, but like, I remember taking him out on a trail ride and he was like celebrating. I look back and he's rolling a blunt on a horse like, I knew I could do it. Mind you, I don't know how to roll a blunt. I don't even know how hard that is, but I'm imagining it was. I don't even know when he pulled it out, when he did it, but he was like, yeah, his accomplishment. I would have like, yeah, he just rolled a blunt for me. I miss my conversations with Raff. We would talk about many things. Believe it or not, politics, religion, culture, so on. Raff's life had taken him many places, and his collective experience gave him an entirely different perspective on things than what I grew up with. During the pandemic, personally, I struggled a lot with an aspect of my business. A client had done me dirty, and I was taking it really hard. I wanted to fight back. I wanted to take revenge for what had been done to me. But Raff would hear me out, he'd empathize, he'd listen to me. But at the end, he advised me to protect my peace instead. He knew that engaging the damage would only hurt me more, and he taught me not to do anything. He said, sometimes doing nothing is the best option, and just protecting your peace. Again, in the world that demands action from us all the time, he taught me once again a different way of looking at things. In many ways, Raff's talks and advice healed me and protected me during that time. It educated and surprised me. I know that he made my world, the world, a better place. And clearly, by the size of the attendance, I'm not the only one that feels that way. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you guys for taking this evening to remember and honor Raff.
Anybody else? No, you weren't here. But I couldn't say more. I have more to say. Hello. I'm Frankie. I'm one of Raff's other horse trainers. Raff was a guy who had stories for centuries, millenniums, the year. And everyone would have you laughing your ass off. Like, this crazy old dude, man. Like, what does he do in his life? There was one day I had ghost stories in my mind. I said, Raff, do you have any ghost stories? He was like, one day when I was young, I was playing with my friends in a warehouse. And we're rocking out, we're flipping our hair, we're going crazy. And then our instruments stopped working. They look around, they said that the cord that plugs to the amp just pulled out. They were like, oh, whatever. They're like, I guess we're just going too hard. They plugged it back in, started up again, 5 seconds later, pulls out again. They're looking at each other like, what's going on? They do it again, and before they start, it comes out again. They plug it back in, they're about to start again. He said the amp goes flying across the room. And they all get quiet and look at each other. He said the funniest shit that he could have imagined was him and his friends in heels, leather skin tight jeans, eyeliner, and scarves just running their asses, hauling ass in heels, falling over everybody. He said he could only imagine how funny it looks. You know? And there was another story where he said whenever he'd go out to bars, he'd be social, talk to people. They say, hey, let me get you a beer. He said, fuck a beer, give me a Coke. He said, it's healthier, it's cheaper. Got myself a Coke right now. Yeah? Look at you. And then there's one thing, Missy, it sucks, I hate to say it too. It was 2 or 3 days before you told Isaiah something. I told him we were driving, I said, have you checked in on Missy and Raff? He said, no, I haven't heard from them in a while. I said, yeah, you should call them. But we always get really busy, you know?
Very in touch with him, and I love you for it.
We're sorry for that.
And we love you.
That could have been our last time to talk to him, we didn't do that.
No, but it's okay. Love you.
And Raph always gave us wisdom, you know? Young kids, he was kind of like a dad. I feel like that was Raph's last, pet podcast, you know? Don't wait. Somebody pops in your mind, call him. You know? Take that trip. Go to the Kiss Chapel, get married. Sing with Raph. I don't know who was here before, just, you know? Just do it. Don't wait, because you'll never know if you wake up tomorrow, you might not wake up. Absolutely. You know? So Raph, my coach.
Awesome sauce.
Thank you, guys.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'd like to share a different perspective with Raff. I didn't know him when we started.
On the microphone.
I have a different perspective of Raff because I was a part of his music scene. Raff and Missy were our next door neighbors. And I knew him personally from his health challenges. His initial diagnosis, which he struggled with and overcame. Had chemotherapy, beat that. Unfortunately, it came back. He went through that again and beat it. Then he went through bone marrow transplant, beat that, and then the experimental treatment, and he beat that. And all along this way, I began to develop a realization that Raff was one tough guy. He's not just a rock and roller, he is a tough guy. So when we heard that he was ill again, I just kind of shrugged my shoulders and said, well, it's Raff. He's a tough guy, he's going to beat it. But that's my perspective, and what I'd like to share is what a tough, intestinal fortitude he was. That was the side you don't often see when you're playing rock and roll.
Awesome, bro. Very cool. Still a rap. Still a rap.
Okay, so you've all seen me before.
Who are you? Identify yourself.
I don't think I need to. Well, you know, some of this is going to be a repeat from what I had said before. But anyway, I met Raff in 2013 at the Casaroma Roadhouse back when I used to set up and tear down the equipment. I was just a schlep for Bullfrog. It was a lot of fun though, you know. And I used to do that on Thursday nights. And during that time, I also hosted the first Friday open mic at the American Legion, right? And I also used to do a lot of parties at my house and shit like that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun back then. Anyway, the first time I met Raff, he just came up and started talking to me about, like, you know, what's going on with the jam and stuff, because he had just started coming to those jams, as I remember. I mean, this was 2013. And I just said, well, you know, you just get up here and play, man. And he's going, okay, cool. Anyway, we ended up finding out, though, just through talking with one each other, that we had a whole lot of other things that we had in common. Both of us worked in the hospitality industry as far as accommodating rock and rollers with things like tour buses and rehearsal studios and stuff like that. I did that for years. And we started really clicking, you know. It was pretty amazing how many other things other than just music we had in common. Anyway, the day that we met, he just came up and started talking to me, and this was at Casa, which was really cool. And anyway, the thing that I remember, one of the things I remember the most, and people have brought this up before, was his signature bright pink BC Rich Warlock. And this was, you know, it's like when he'd come into the room, and a lot of times he didn't even have his case. He would just sling this thing over his shoulder. He was like a gunslinger, right? He'd just come in and like, yeah, I'm here to play. Anyway, that's one of the things that I remember the most about him was his Warlock. And then there was this time, in fact, I think, I don't know, Stefano? Yes. And I think Mano was there, possibly, at a party at his house. And he created this huge, he had a whole bunch of, he cleared his property, and he had this huge stack of wood in his backyard. And it's like the middle of summer when stuff is like really dry. And he torched the thing. And the thing is just going, Anyway, I always thought that was pretty intense, you know. I'm going, dude, you're out of your mind. But anyway, we all stood around the fire, and the fire finally, you know, like just sort of, you know, dwindled down, and that was really cool. Anyway, and then you know, the thing is like during that period of time, both Raff and Missy became like my favorite couple. They really did, because it was just amazing the attraction or the attachment or whatever that they had. It was like it was like magical. It was literally magical. And we ended up having a birthday party for Raff at the house, and then we had at my house, because my house was also at like this jam place. And anything I could come up with that was a good excuse to have a party, I would do it, right? So, anyway, but the thing that I remember the most was when Raff called me and he said, hey, can we have a birthday party for Missy at your house? And I said, yeah. And we had a birthday party for her, and he made this amazing cake with her image on it. And in fact, I think that was actually before you guys were married, I think. It might have been. But the thing that, the other deal too was that he had brought a whole bouquet of flowers that he gave to her. And obviously, I mean, it's all helter-skelter, it's a party, everybody's like partying and stuff like that. And everybody wants to jam and whatnot. And so we took those flowers and we put them in a vase with water so they wouldn't like get screwed up, right? Well, anyway, they forgot to take their flowers home. And I had these flowers for darn near a year. And I would call them and I'd say, oh, you going to the gym? Yeah, I'm going to bring the flowers. Then guess what? I'd forget the damn flowers. So the flowers ended up at my place for, like I said, over a year. And they wilted and whatnot, but they were very, very beautiful. And then I think the time that I gave the flowers back to Raff, because I gave him a hard time. In fact, didn't you tell me to throw them away or something like that? Like, oh, they're probably all wilted. And I hung on to them, and I think it was when Rick came out, and Raff, her brother Rick, or his cousin, but he's brother. Yes. Rick is an amazing guy, and I wish he was here, because I love Rick so much. Anyway, and Rick and Raff came out, and I finally said, you know what? Take these flowers home. So I don't know if you ever got the flowers, but I know I gave them to him.
We got the flowers.
You got the flowers, okay. Yes. But anyway, that's one thing that I remember, because again, both Raff and Missy, they really left footprints in my heart. I swear to God, they really did. And again, it's the same thing with all you people that showed up tonight. One way or another, we've all connected. And it's just so important that as we get older, yes, that we learn how to love each other and appreciate the things that we do. And anyway, I just love you all. And I love you, Missy. And, you know, I mean, he's here, and I just want to thank everybody for showing up. But come up here and share your stories, because that's a wonderful thing.
Yes. Yeah, I want to make a new one for, because the Army has it, and the Navy has it, and I'm going to have it.
Yeah.
I love you, Missy. You're the exception.
I'm good. I'm just recording. Oh, you're just recording.
I've been still in my shot all night. I haven't even took it yet.
Come on, man up, man.
I like to sip on it.
What are you guys drinking anyway?
Jameson. Anybody else drinking whiskey? I think the last time I saw Missy, I still wasn't even old enough to drink. I was, when you guys moved to Georgia though, I think I was still like 19, 20. But no, I said some stuff about Raff earlier. But hey, security already knows me. Security knows I'm 23. But I said some stuff about Raff earlier, but I had a couple more things to say. You know, like meeting him at Casa Roma and all this stuff, and meeting Missy, and you know, playing all these backyard jams with Moldy, and you know, I remember the jams even used to be out in the alley in the back behind Casa Roma and stuff. And I just remember Raff, when my father passed away, you know, Raff was kind of one of the first guys I called because he was in contact with me a lot when my dad was sick and stuff and in the hospital. And Raff would call me like every day. And the night my dad passed away, I remember calling Raff and Missy, you know, they lived in Roseman at the time. And I told him, you know, you don't have to come. You know, I just wanted to let you know that he passed. And he was like, I'm on my way.
Take care. Take care. It's good to see you.
He just, he made sure that he was there. And, you know, he came over every day after the night he passed away, and you know, we played more songs, and, you know, we just played guitar together. And I remember we were booked to play the AV Fair before my dad got sick, and Raff was sick during the time that we started shows, and actually Robbie Duran played our last show with us the day my dad had his heart attack over at the Harley Davidson. And I remember Raff being in the crowd. You know, he was still sick, but he made sure that he was there. And, you know, I remember my dad telling him on stage, you know, get better soon. We miss you, and, you know, it's just hard. You know, and I think it's crazy, like I was telling my girlfriend, you know, I have a lot of best friends, but they're like 50 years old and up, you know? Like, besides my band, you know, I'm talking to my high school friends, you know, like, all my friends, like, are 50 years old and up, man. And, you know, I tell her, like, they're best friends, you know, like,
That count.
even Moldy was my fucking first bass player. Joey gave me my first drum, like, it's just fucking crazy, man. Like, these dudes I've known, you know, for years, you know, growing up in this town and jamming everywhere, and, you know, they never treated me as like a little kid, like, you know, get off stage, you know, you don't know what you're doing, you know, they let me play, and that's how I, you know, I learned a lot from all of them. I learned a lot from Raff, and, you know, just, even the day of my dad's funeral, I remember him getting out of his car and he's walking up and he's got a purple hat on. He's got a purple fucking scarf and purple shirt and purple Converse, man. And I don't know if anybody else saw it, but he was rolling a blunt at the church. He was rolling a blunt at the church. I'm just thinking to myself, we're at a church and a funeral, and he was still rolling up a blunt, you know? And but going back, I remember we were booked to play the AV Fair, and my dad was still in the hospital, and I told Raff, you know, we should still do the show, you know, and I would sing and play. And Raff was like, no, I don't want to do it without your dad. And I just said, you know, well, he really wants us to do it, but he only did it because my dad, you know, but we didn't expect my dad to pass, and, you know, I said, let's just do it. And then I remember the day of the show, he gets to the fair and I open up the gate for him and he's like, this is the fucking stage we're playing on? But we didn't know that the AV Fair stage, right when you walk in, there's that one Camacho stage where they moved it all the way to the kids section, right? So I'm like, we're gonna play fucking Kiss and all this shit, and these like 10-year-old kids are gonna be like, and he was mad, he was pissed, man. He's like, dude, like, he's going crazy. He's like, this is what we're doing? Like, really? Like, and I'm like, dude, well, I didn't know, man.
That was a community stage.
It was a community stage. Man, we got these like little ballet dancers and shit coming on after us, and we're like, what the dude, I was just like, wow, man. But, you know, he did it. You know, he did it because I wanted to do it. You know, he just always made sure that I was taken care of, and, you know, I was even lucky enough to meet his mom. You know, and
I did not have to.
And his brother.
They're watching.
You know.
Yeah.
You know. knowing Raff so long, I was with him so much. You know, he's like a second dad. I remember Missy sending me the text. I was at my job. I quit now. Fucking. It's all about music, man. I'm just playing music. No, I remember, I think it was the day before I had to quit or whatever. And I was at Subway, and she sent me the text.
Subway, that's a real good job.
No, I was on my lunch break, man. And I was getting ready to pay, man. And she sent me the text, and I remember just looking at my phone, and it's like everything went blank. Like the girl was just like, "Hello," and I was just like, you know, I couldn't believe it. You know, and Raff tried to get me out to Georgia, and I remember going back and forth, trying to get me out to Georgia to play shows and stuff like that. But Raphael, I love you, man, and
Amen.
thank you for everything. Thank you, man.
Shoot that shot, motherfucker. Matt, shoot that shot.
Finally, here we go.
Bottles up, baby. That's what's up. You guys are amazing.
This will be short. But
That's what she said.
yeah, I gotta give people.
That's what she said, Brian.
But I just wanted to add a couple things because I remember one night at Casa Roma, I was there for a jam. It was like in between bands. Missy and Raff, we had a jam, you know, at Casa Roma. They came outside. We were like getting ready to leave. And we were standing outside and he's smoking a joint. And he's like, and then, you know, he's talking to me about, you know, this helps him with his pain and everything. And I'm like, okay, I'll also have some with you. And then it was part of a whole thing that Joe was doing. And somehow, some way, we ended up like, this whole band thing came into the whole play, you know? Like, okay, let's do this band. You know, I'm like, okay, all right. You know, and Raff, you had all these ideas, you know? These big ideas. And he and Joe both like were in Hollywood the same time I was, but we didn't know each other. Because I grew up in LA and I was playing gigs in Hollywood and they were playing gigs in Hollywood and we went to the same clubs.
Yeah.
You know, we went to the Cat House and the Rainbow and the Whiskey and all these different places. And we didn't know each other, you know, but then we met, you know. So we ended up spending like a year rehearsing at Max and Joe's house. We spent like a fucking year.
It was longer than that.
Was it?
That's what it felt like.
Oh, okay. He became the drummer. So naturally, because I liked Raff because he was an ass kicker. You know? And like he didn't, you know, it's like, if you're gonna do it fucking right. Do the song right. You know? And it was like, you know, and I love that shit, man. You know. Because I'm kind of like, I'm a little passive aggressive, you know. I have a hard time telling people what to do because then they get pissed off at me because I'm an asshole. But, you know, I have the same attitude. But he vocalized it, so he was kind of like his coach. And we spent all this time rehearsing, and finally we did a show. And it was here, wasn't it? We did the one show.
Yes, you did.
And then, you know, unfortunately, when his father had the heart attack, I was in LA. I had to go to a convention, then I rushed back, and we had to deal with all
all that. But I just wanted to say that, like, it's like a lot of the things that you guys are talking about, I can relate to, you know, about his personality, about his intensity, you know what I mean? His passion, you know? He didn't fuck around. I mean, he was like in your face, you know? If he had an opinion about something, he didn't go, you know? And I love that. I love that about him, you know? So I'll never, like, I hold on. It's kind of like, I hold on to certain things that people have done for me as far as inspiration and their personality, and I use it. So, you know, it's like he gave me some tools in life, you know what I mean? So, and I remember we were talking, my gigs got canceled in Georgia. We had Georgian.
Right, I know, I understand.
But, you know, I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for his, like, just being in my life, you know? I'm just glad that he was there. I'm not glad I was part of it. I never knew, you know? I was just glad to be part of it, you know? You know what I mean? It was like a gift, you know? I'll never forget that, you know? So, just thank you. Thank you for everything.
Good job, Ryan. Great job.
Excellent. Shit. Are we there yet? We must be there already.
I don't know, man. I can tell you right now, Raff is up there right now with Hendrix, and he's telling Hendrix how he's doing shit wrong.
Yes! Yes!
He's probably right.
Okay, does anyone else have anything we want to say? Because we need to close up and move on. Is there anyone else that wants to come up and share a memory or a story?
We love you, Missy.
This was fabulous.
We love you too. I'm sorry I'm like falling apart, but it's...
We got you.
I know. This is the best bunch of people in the world, I think. I really believe this. You've been our friends, you've been our fortitude, you've been our hearts, really. And we appreciate that. And I wanted to just mention that Mama Lilette in France, she shares her love and she wants to say that thank you to everyone for being here tonight and for loving us, for supporting us. And she wishes she could be here, but it wasn't meant to be, so we'll come back again. We love you guys, and thank you for helping us and supporting us and being with us and understanding our grief and our passion and our love. Good night.
Thank you.
Love you, Missy.